Today, let us sit with a question many people carry quietly. How do we find the courage to begin a new path? Most of us imagine courage as the opposite of fear. We believe that before beginning, we should feel ready, certain, and confident. We imagine that one morning we will wake up and the doubt will be gone. The path will appear clearly. We will step forward with the calm assurance of someone who finally knows exactly what to do. So we wait, we prepare, we collect more information. We tell ourselves that when the conditions improve, when life becomes quieter, when our responsibilities feel lighter, then we will begin. But anyone who has truly started something new knows that the truth is usually different. You rarely feel completely ready. You begin anyway. And readiness arrives later. Sometimes much later, often disguised as experience, familiarity, or the quiet confidence that grows from having continued. The certainty we are waiting for is not always a condition for beginning. Often, it is a result of beginning. It comes from taking one step and then another, and discovering that the ground beneath you can hold. What we call a lack of courage is often something more specific. It is the anticipation of the voice that will speak the moment we try, the voice that says, "You are beginning too late. Others are already far ahead. You tried something like this before. Why should this attempt end differently?" It compares our first steps with someone else's years of progress and concludes that we should not begin at all. Many of us have mistaken this inner severity for wisdom. We confuse harshness with high standards. We assume that criticizing ourselves will produce better work, but often it produces something else: hesitation, avoidance, a collection of beginnings that never have time to become anything. One of the hidden costs of carrying such a voice is that, gradually, we stop starting. Not because we no longer want the new path, but because beginning has become an invitation to be wounded by our own judgment. So when we say we lack courage, what we may really mean is that we are tired of the commentary that follows every effort, tired of being a beginner and not yet knowing what we are doing, tired of standing between the life we sense may be possible and the life we are currently living. This exhaustion is real, and motivation alone cannot heal it. Motivation addresses the task. It does not necessarily change the relationship we have with ourselves while doing the task. There is an old story associated with the Taoist philosopher Zhuangzi. A man was deeply disturbed by his own shadow and irritated by the footprints he left behind. He decided to run away from them. He ran faster and faster, but the shadow remained beside him, and with every step, more footprints appeared behind him. The faster he ran, the more visible his trail became, and the more frantic he grew. Eventually, exhausted, he collapsed. Zhuangzi observes that if the man had simply stepped into the shade and sat still, his shadow would have disappeared, and the footprints would have stopped. Perhaps this is closer to what courage actually means. Not the strength to outrun the inner voice, not the ability to silence it through achievement, but the willingness to stop running, to step into the shade, to begin from a place that is no longer trying to prove anything, not to colleagues, not to family, not to people who may question your choices, not even to the part of yourself that believes every new beginning must justify your past. The path we fear beginning is often the one we most fear failing at, especially when failure may be visible. Perhaps you are considering changing careers after many years in one profession, beginning a small business, returning to study, leaving a role that once gave you identity, creating something after decades of telling yourself you are not creative, moving toward a quieter life that others may not understand. Before taking one step, you may already have imagined the version of yourself who tries and does not succeed. You have heard the possible comments. You have felt the embarrassment of an outcome that has not happened. And so you delay. You hope that one day the fear of regret will become stronger than the fear of trying. Sometimes it does, but it is a costly way to live. There is another way. It is gentler and it is older than any productivity system. It is the way of small movements. A new path does not require certainty. It does not require the absence of fear. It asks for something smaller and sometimes more difficult. It asks that we stop waiting for the inner voice to give us permission, because the permission we are waiting for may never come. That voice rarely approves of beginnings. It approves of finished results, and even then, only briefly, before finding something else to criticize. Lao Tzu wrote, "A journey of 1,000 miles begins beneath one's feet." The phrase is often repeated, but its meaning is easily missed. The path does not begin in some future moment when you finally feel prepared. It begins where you are standing now, with what you know, with what you have, at the age you are, within the responsibilities you currently carry. The first step does not need to feel heroic. It is simply the next step. It does not need to impress anyone. It does not need to prove that the entire decision is correct. It only needs to be taken. Clarity often comes through contact. You can think about a path for years and still not know whether it belongs to you. But one step will teach you something. 1 hour spent doing the work, one honest conversation, one application submitted, one page written, one meeting with someone already working in the field. One small experiment that moves the question out of imagination and into life. Before you begin, the path is like a cloud. After one step, it becomes ground, and ground can be walked. This is what the critical voice struggles to understand. It wants the beginning to resemble the destination. It wants the first attempt to carry the skill of the final version. It wants the first day in a new role to feel as comfortable as the 20th year in the old one. But a path does not reveal itself that way. It appears only as it is walked. Clarity comes from movement, not from standing still and trying to see the entire road. There is something else worth recognizing. The fear of starting a new path often contains a fear of becoming someone slightly different. Every real beginning asks us to release a familiar version of ourselves. The person who has always done things this way, the person others recognize, the reliable professional, the parent who always puts personal needs last, the partner who avoids disruption, the person who can explain their life in one simple sentence. Even when the new direction is deeply wanted, there may be grief in loosening our hold on the old identity. Courage is not only facing the unknown ahead, it is also releasing some of what is familiar behind us. Both happen at the same time. Both ask us to accept a period of being between two shapes, no longer entirely the person we were, not yet fully the person we are becoming, simply someone walking in a direction that feels honest, without yet being able to prove where it will lead. Perhaps the same is true for you. Perhaps the thing you keep postponing is not asking you to become fearless. Perhaps it is asking you to become faithful. Faithful to the quiet desire that keeps returning, faithful to the part of you that knows the old room has become too narrow, faithful to the possibility that the next chapter may need to begin before it can be understood. You do not need to cross the whole distance today. You do not need to resign tomorrow, announce a major decision, or overturn your life in one dramatic gesture. You only need to stop pretending that the door is not there. You can stand before it. You can place your hand on it. You can breathe. And you can quietly admit, something in me wants to begin. Then ask, what is the smallest honest step available to me? Perhaps it is setting aside 30 minutes to explore the idea. Perhaps it is speaking with someone you trust. Perhaps it is researching a course, reviewing your finances, or writing down what you are afraid to lose. Perhaps it is returning to a project you abandoned years ago. The step should be real, but it does not need to be large. Let it teach you. Let contact replace imagination. Let experience answer what thought cannot. You may discover that the path is not yours. That too is useful clarity. Or you may discover that the fear remains, but it no longer has complete authority. Courage does not always arrive before the step. Sometimes courage is what the step leaves behind. So do not wait to become a person without doubt. Do not make fearlessness another condition you must satisfy before you are allowed to live. Begin as the person you are, uncertain, experienced in some ways, and completely new in others, carrying responsibilities, carrying history, still capable of moving. The journey of 1,000 miles begins beneath your feet, not beneath the feet of the younger person you once were, not beneath the feet of the more confident person you think you should become, beneath your feet, here. Now, the new path does not ask you to know everything. It asks only for the next honest step.